Well, the Heritage Conservation Society caps off Heritage Month with a new podcast. The two-part special will take us back in time and bring us through the streets of Manila. To tell us more about music, landscapes, and memory is immediate past Chairperson Tats Rejante Manahan. Hi, Tats. Glad you could join us on The Final Word. Wow, this is the first podcast ever of the HCS for National Heritage Month. How challenging was it to write it?
Well, it was in collaboration with the OPM archive, and I don't think we could have done it without them. So there were two teams, two research teams, one for the sites, the heritage sites, and then the other one, OPM archive, did the research for the music background and all the interviews, which were conducted by Krina Kayabyab, who is also the vice president for the OPM archive and the head of research for the archive. And then on the HGS side, since I'm involved with both organizations, so I kind of was the middle ground for both. And everything was dumped on me. All the research was dumped on me since I was going to write it.
So you put it all together, you pieced all of it into two parts,
Yes.
which is now on Spotify. I listened to the podcast, Tats. Beautiful production. Music is interspersed with interviews. Comparisons are drawn between the before and the now.
Yes, that's right. Because it shows you the progression, sad progression of what used to be. So that's the memory and what it has become now. I mean, you can rack it up to progress or development or whatever else you want to call it, moving forward. But you cannot deny the fact that some of those beautiful places have been lost and are just, engraved in everyone's memory. So the whole technical thing was done by OPM Archive. It was produced by Moy Ortiz, who is the president of the archive. So and Paulo Alcazaren, I asked him because he's a colleague in the Heritage Conservation Society. I asked him to make to string together the sites, the spiels on the sites by making statements of significance for each of the sites that we had featured through music.
It is very informative, that's educational, and as you say, it's a realization of what we had in the past. But we can still conserve that, we can preserve that, and still do it in the present. Why do you use the Spotify platform instead of commercial radio, which could reach, a wider Filipino audience? Not everyone has a smartphone. Well, everyone can listen to the radio.
Well, it was really the OPM archive that decided the platform, because we were saying on that side, it's the strongest and it's the widest reach worldwide. And as Moy says, it stays forever. So we were wanting more people to hear it, be more aware of what we had and what can be brought back, actually.
The millions of our kababayans who live overseas can listen to this two-part podcast on Spotify. And you know what, Tats, for many of us who love OPM, you know what, we can relate to the music. For example, Pasig River, Mutya ng Pasig, the city of Manila, the song Manila by Hot Dog, Avenida Avenue, Limang Dipang Tao by national artist Ryan Kayabyab, and Ermita, the song Huling El Bimbo featuring director Dexter Santos, among others. So it really is a wonderful collaboration put together, and people will really listen to it because of our love as well for original Filipino music.
Yes, and we're so happy that we have a good response from this. It's the first time that we ever attempted something like this, and we are really happy. Both organizations are very, very happy that it was received well.
And do you plan to produce maybe, I mean, this is for Spotify, right? This is for listeners, it's audio. What about international streaming for TV? We would love to see the before and the now on video, Tats.
We would love to do that. But of course, with the pandemic now, it crossed our minds, but I was thinking, how awful if we have to use, like used footage. We wanted to
Original.
do original footage, but that was impossible right now, So maybe in the future, hopefully, we can translate this into a video.
Okay, I was just thinking about it, no, when I received the material about this two-part podcast. What about succeeding, maybe part 3, part 4, part 5, include other places in the country?
We're thinking about it. We're really thinking about it because right now we're like, it was us, the officers of HCS and the officers of OPM Archive. It was us who were the ones working on this. Although we had, like, on HCS, we had our working groups, and OPM also had their working groups as far as the research was concerned. So we had full cooperation of both organizations. It was really quite a nice experience for both.
An amazing production indeed. Music, landscapes, and memory. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word.
Thank you for having
Tats,
us. Thank
Rejante,
you so much.
Manahan.